Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Aries. If Aries is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, woo, knock, knock, knock. Let's see what these tea leaves have to say. All right. So the card that we have tonight for this reading is the Hierophant. And this has so much to do with that sacred journey into the mysteries, seeking illumination, understanding, very much tied to the moon, the cycles of the moon. And that often has something to do with these kind of emotional tides, the ebb and flow of things. Okay. So I think that you're just really in a very spiritual, centric, kind of sacred place. I mean, I just imagine you kind of, tucked away with your books and listening to your podcasts and, watching your TV shows and stuff that inspire you spiritually. Okay, so I want to look at, here we have what looks like a tree. Okay, it looks like it's kind of blowing in the wind a bit. And it almost looks like some of the branches are falling down. Now, of course we have these kinds of images of like the world tree, the tree of life, the tree of life and death, the tree of knowledge, these, sacred trees, these trees that mirror the composition of our psyche, our spirit, our physical kingdoms. And so as something falls away, that can feel kind of traumatic, right? It can feel like it's been ripped away from you. But as we know in life, we must shed those things that don't serve us anymore. Sometimes that happens without us agreeing to it. We have not given our permissions to the universe. Sometimes we know that this is what would be best for us, but it's really hard to get out of the cycles, our chronic cycles, our compulsive cycles, habitual cycles, our relationships that maybe can become kind of unstable, toxic, dark in ways. Maybe we're expending a lot of energy in places that we just don't have those resources to give. Well, it feels like some kind of storm has come through, right? And something has gone on. I don't know that this is, a huge thing, but it is something. And it feels like some kind of loss. Do I think this is like a core person to your life or a core thing to your life? I don't necessarily think that's it. If that were the case, I think a whole part of the tree would have fallen off, or it would be kind of broken in half or something. But I think that this is kind of like, maybe somebody you've been friends with, maybe somebody you have been dating, maybe even married to, but it just, hasn't worked for a long time. Okay, and this is one of those times where it's kind of a gift. You've, as they say, dodged that thing that was going to hit you, right? So I see also this person over here who looks like they are kind of celebrating, almost like you know, cheering on the situation being kind of forced to some kind of closure, right? Or at least closing. And so, you know, this might be a bittersweet thing, but I feel that as time goes on, because this is in that emotional state, you are going to start to feel better. You're going to get like into a more stable place, physically, mentally, spiritually, and you're going to kind of rejoice like, oh, I'm glad that, you know, those things kind of played out that way. This was not, I was not on the right path here. Okay. And I want to look at this one because it's really kind of interesting. It almost looks like A, N, A. Well, and you can't really see it that way. Maybe if I go like this, the way that I'm looking at it, it looks like A and A. You can kind of see that, okay? So it almost reminds me of Anna, obviously. And, which is a beautiful name. I have a couple of Annas throughout my life who have been some of the most powerful women you could imagine. So when that name to me is always like synonymous with strength, like a badass, like, you know, not going to take one single thing from anybody and is going to, you know, work their butt off to get what they need and do for their family. And that's an energy. I think that it's somebody in your life, or it is, or maybe you are that person. Maybe you both are. You've kind of adopted that same disposition, and that does not surprise me. Okay, so we also have, and I was looking down here, we have this, oh, it looks like a little wolf, right? Like the big bad wolf that's gonna come knock on your door. And it looks like it almost has like a little bat there. And, you know, I think it's interesting because I think it really does kind of relate to that I feel like when you are a person who is like kind of really spiritual, very in tune with your body, the flow of things, how the moon makes you feel in different cycles. And I don't just mean people who have a uterus, okay? This can be all people. We are all affected by the celestial bodies. I definitely feel like this is like, and then I see this right here. I see what looks like a stork or a heron, which to me is always a sign of contemplation, peace, sometimes fertility, but not in this case. And that would align with the moon a little bit, but I think it's like this vacillation between the two, being calm, collected, cool as a cucumber, and then being this like, I'm gonna get, you know, you know, that big bad wolf. And so I think that there's just an element of needing to kind of find a happy medium between the two. Okay. I think that sometimes it's like, you know, when you get into these places where you are really about self, really taking care, you know, and this is one of my mantras. And you take it how you take it, but save self. Nobody's going to come in and save you, honey. That's just life. Okay. The older you get, the more you realize that, you know, and I love telling younger people, you know, learn to take care of yourself, learn to do things for yourself. It's important because at some point, nobody's going to be able to do everything for you. Know, your parents aren't going to be there to do things for you necessarily, or they're, you know, they get older. You have to take care of them, right? You might not have people in your life to take care of you. So you need to learn how to do things. You need to know how to do things. You need to know how to handle yourself. Okay? And so, you know, I think that's just such an important thing. And I think it's important to find a way to, in these spiritual times, as you're awakening, you're really, you know, motivated to do those practical learning things, skills, that kind of stuff. But also just understanding yourself in the world and your place in the world, how you want to affect the world, all these things can be highly emotional. There's this idea, it's not all serene being on a spiritual path. It is not always follow your bliss and this and that, you know. But, you know, there are times you just can't believe people. Cannot believe that they don't understand or they don't have any care to, you know, do the self-work. But we have to learn to let it go, because it will eat us up. It will devour us. And we've seen these movements on the internet where people just get so in these circles of like chasing their own tail, and they feed each other on, and they just completely unravel. And it's very sad. And it's not just the internet. This has gone on in the occult, new age, all these different kinds of things for, you know, probably since they began. So we must be careful. We must use reason. We must learn to kind of control ourselves. Find those mediums. Find a way to let out those energies, those blockages, the reactionary things that arise in ourselves. Okay. Now I also see we have this beautiful horse and a knight, what would a female knight be? A knight, I guess. And we have some flowers, and I just think of this very triumphant kind of quest. Really, you know, going through all of those stages of a hero's quest, a journey of the hero, facing a lot of ordeals and things, but really trying to hold on to the optimism in life, the sunny side of life, as they say. You know, coming into positions of leadership, which we all know, Aries are natural leaders, but also with that Hierophant, initiators, right? Those who help reveal the secrets to others, guides, okay? And I think that that's a big thing for you, is that you like to help others become. You like to help others be able to be themselves, right? And so you're kind of definitely that hero that rides into people's lives, and you make them feel comfortable with just being who they are. You can talk to them like a human being, no judgment. That's one of the big and impressive qualities that Aries carry with them. Okay, and then I want to look at this one. We have this beautiful figure. It looks like it's wearing some kind of long robe or a dress. The head looks like a star. I get this idea of being very much in these dreamy states, these kind of spiritual states where you're having visions, you're having very lucid kind of dreams, or they're intense kind of dreams. They carry over into your life. You're working through things, those difficult feelings, those emotional periods of time where you're kind of going back and forth, and this beautiful place. I think that there's a lot of room for creating, writing, you know, maybe making videos or something. You know, there's so many outlets to do your creativity. Maybe you make, you know, jewelry or whatever it is, just whatever comes to my mind here. But putting some of this abundant spiritual energy, this motivation into your creative works, I think that would be so excellent. And then up here, same thing to me. The soaring hawk or an eagle always has to do with that imagination, that keen sense of perception. You're above everything to be able to look at it. You are intelligent, sharp, and just really in that place where you can definitely make something very interesting art, poetry, whatever you're into. So I think this is a really good time. I think, it's not the easiest time by any means, but when is life really easy, right? When is it really? It's just it's always something coming up. All right, so we have a little flower that seems to be kind of bent over, and that to me signifies the passing of something that is it's hit its peak and now it's kind of falling over and withering away. But the good news is that makes room for more buds to open up, right? And I think of this, I've been out there pruning my roses and, taking away what I think they call it deadheading the flowers, and, so you can make room for the other buds to bloom beautifully. And so this is the cycle of life, and you are on to the next thing. I also see this candle of illumination that just totally coincides with everything that's going on here with your spiritual journeys, your enlightened position here, and the clarity that you have right now. Okay. I almost called you Taurus. I'm so sorry. Okay, Aries, I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such a pleasure. It is an honor. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps us get into the algorithm. We are growing this channel one person at a time. That includes you. If you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next video is coming out. Other than that, if you want to leave a comment, please do. I read the comments, all of them, and I try to get back to them as soon as I can. Sometimes it takes a minute, but I do, and they mean so much to me. They really do. So I want to thank you so much, and we are going to talk in just a few more days. And in the meantime, you should do some cross-watching or check out your other placements. All right. Thank you.